Hey guys, I'm Candle and it's time for a new goals video. For those of you who don't know, I've been doing this for a little over a year now, and the whole point of this video is accountability. I've struggled with chronic procrastination for most of my life, and through the use of a goals list, I've been able to get that mostly under control. I say mostly because from time to time I still end up not doing everything I'm supposed to. So here's how it works. Every 3 months, I make a new list of things I want to accomplish in that time frame and make a video sharing that list with all of you. At the same time, I review the previous list and see just how well I did. If I've managed to complete, say, 70% of the list, I count that as a win and can give myself a pat on the back. If I don't, well, then you guys can leave disappointed comments down below and I have to live with that failure. Now, I keep these lists on my phone because it's always with me and I can tick things off or add them as needed. So let's get right to it, shall we? These were my writing and personal goals for the first quarter of 2018, January 1st through March 31st. So the first goal was to outline Bloodbound. Now, Bloodbound is the sequel to Bloodless, which was the book I finished the rough draft of at the beginning of the year. It's pretty much my main go-to project right now. Unfortunately, I have not done this. I spent too much time working on other things and just never quite got around to getting this one done. The same with the next goal, which was to outline Haven, which is my other big main project. I haven't actually outlined this yet. I've been doing a lot of world building for this one, but because it's based in a secondary world, not our own, there's a lot of stuff I need to figure out yet before I'm ready to start outlining. Although I think I am getting pretty close, so we'll see how that goes. Up after that was to outline 5:48 a.m. This is a contemporary sci-fi novella, which is based in our world, so not as much world building needed. I have done this. It is completed. The outline is done. I do need to go back and maybe add a few things, retool it a little bit, but other than that, it's mostly done. Next up was to investigate Scrivener, which is this writing application. It's for authors, by authors, that kind of thing. And I checked it out. I'm not quite sure it's for me. The reason I say that is because there is a lot in this program, and I still haven't quite wrapped my head around it yet. And I think it's too much for me. Plus, I kind of really like using Microsoft Word. That's kind of what I grew up using as a word processor, so that's kind of what I still use now. Up after that was to read Bloodless for the first time since finishing it and look for issues. I have done this. I actually did about 2 passes. I did once on my own trying to figure out any issues that I might see by myself, and the other was taking into account all of the feedback I'd gotten from my writing group. So I've done this. My revision notes are completed, and actually that leads me right into my next goal, which was to complete and create a new outline for Bloodless. So this is done as well. I just finished it the other day. It's a little over 9,000 words, which is about a tenth of my total expected word goal, which sounds about right to me for the amount of depth in this. And I went through a number of changes. The story itself didn't change too much. There were a few things I had to add in, and most notably, there was a bunch of stuff I had to take out. And what I ended up realizing was I had so much extra description and fluff in my book that it really bloated the word count, and like a third of my chapters are gone now, simply through cutting out that fluff and melding chapters together in a much better, much more cohesive way. So after creating the outline for Bloodless, I wanted to start the second draft, and I have not quite done this yet. Technically, I could do this, but I'd much rather start that on April 1st with the new set of goals, the new 3 months. So I'd much rather start that then, so I kind of held off on that. After that was to write 2 to 3 critiques a week for my writing group. I did this for a while. I haven't been doing it recently because my writing group kind of sort of fell apart a bit. There's a couple of us still talking, but nobody's really doing any critiques or anything. And we're thinking of bringing in some new people, so we'll see how that goes. We're thinking of starting critiques again in May. So we'll see what happens. I kind of hate to say this, but if these new people aren't quite what I'm looking for, I may have to leave this group and find another one. It's just the way it is. I'm not quite sure I'm going to get out of this new format or these new people what I need for my next draft and stuff like that. So after that was to keep to the writing schedule for about 80% of the time, because the reason why it's not 100% is just in case like things like life get in the way and stuff like that. So I have not actually been able to do this, unfortunately. I think I probably got it around 60-70% of the time. And this has been a real struggle for me to try to make sure that I'm writing a set amount of time every day and stuff like that and keep up with everything. And it's tough for me to do, and that's something I'm still struggling at. The next goal was more of a personal one. It was to beat 8 games in the 3-month time frame, and the reason why this is on here is because video games are the way I relax, okay? And they're very much a way for me to wind down from a long day at work and stuff like that. So I figured, you know what? I've got a huge backlog. Let's put this on here, and I did it. I actually beat well over 8, although technically I didn't beat them all myself. For a number of them I ended up watching Let's Plays because they were games I just didn't care enough to beat myself, or I was struggling too much, they were too tough, things like that. Or in the case of Demon's Souls, I ran into technical difficulties with my disc and did not really want to track down another one. Next up was to read 3 books for fun, and I did this as well. I think I actually read 4, which doesn't sound like much given a 3-month time frame. You'd think you'd be able to do like twice that, but really the only times I read for the most part are at the laundromat or at work when I'm on break, things like that. So I don't have as much time at home to read as doing other things. Another goal I had was to read at least 1 craft book, and I did do this. You can actually see it on the shelf back here. It is the Complete Handbook of Novel Writing. I got it for Christmas from my sister and her husband, and it was a pretty interesting read. For the most part, it was stuff I already knew, but there was some interesting stuff, as well as the last third of the book or so is straight up interviews with famous authors and things like that to figure out what their methods are and things like that. It was actually really interesting. So I think I'm progressing to the point where I don't really need craft books. Of course, I say that now, and I probably will still end up reading a few, but I think I'm good for craft books for the time being. And the last goal of the past 3 months was to be more active on social media. Now, this was a bit nebulous. It's like, how do you gauge being more active? And basically, I've been reading Twitter a lot more. I've been posting on Twitter a bit more. Not as much as I probably would like to, but I've been doing something. I don't really do Facebook too much outside of just checking, seeing what's going on with family and friends. YouTube, obviously, you guys know what's going on with that. And so that was it. If you've been keeping track, you'll have noticed I completed 9 out of 13 goals for a total completion rate of about 69%. That's incredibly close to the 70% I needed for it to be a success, and I'm really kind of bummed out by that. If I'd managed to complete just 1 more goal, I'd have been golden, but c'est la vie. I'll just have to do better next time, and speaking of which, these are my writing and personal goals for Q2 2018 to be completed by the end of June. So the first goal is to write the 2nd draft of Bloodless. Technically this is more like the 8th or 9th draft, but it'll be the 2nd finished full draft. That's why I count it as draft 2. I don't expect this to take me nearly as long as the last one did. The last draft took me over 2 years. I'm really expecting to have this finished by the end of June. And hopefully before then, actually. But definitely by the end of June. And the reason why my last draft took so long was because my outline wasn't as complex as I needed it to be, and procrastination and other things got in the way, and I really struggled a lot with writer's block throughout those 2 years. So we'll see how well we do this time. I'm expecting it to take about 2 to 3 months, so we'll see how well it goes by this time next quarter. Next up after that is to actually outline Bloodbound. I still need to do a little bit of brainstorming before I'm ready to start the outline, but since I now have a working outline format, and things should go a lot smoother, especially since I know so much more about Bloodless and what I want to do with its sequel. So we'll see how well things go with that. Up after that is to outline Haven, which, again, I'm not quite done world building enough to start the outline for that, but I will be soon. Up after that is to research 5:48 AM. Again, this is my contemporary sci-fi novella. There are a few things I need to research, mostly in psychology, child psychology, things like that. After that is to keep to the writing schedule 80% of the time. Every single week I put out a new writing schedule for myself. based on what my work schedule is, what my available free time is going to be, and I try to aim for about 2 to 3 hours a day of writing. It's not strictly pure, just unadulterated fingers to the keyboard writing, but it also includes research and stuff like that as well. So pretty much anything writing related gets slotted into that time frame. Up after that is more of a personal goal. It's kind of a fitness goal, actually, is to get a bicycle, and the next one after that is to start biking a couple miles a day. Typically around springtime, I kind of go on this, not quite a fitness kick, but I start feeling like I need to exercise more. So the last couple years, I took to walking a couple miles, hoping to eventually turn into running. But whenever I started trying to run, after a little while, my knees, my legs would hurt, usually my shins. So I don't know if it's because I wasn't running correctly or if there's just something else going on. But I figure a bicycle is a good way to still be able to do that kind of exercise, but have a lot less impact on my legs. And so I need to get a new bicycle. Well, really what I need to do is get my old bicycle from my parents. They still have my old bicycle from when I was a teenager, and it's still serviceable. It still works. As much as I would like to get a brand new one, that's probably the more economical route, considering I've looked at bicycles on Amazon and they are like $300. That seems overly excessive to me, especially when I can go to Walmart and get one for like half the price. But I don't know. I'll figure it out somehow. So next up after that is to make a website. This will be my author website. It'll be pretty much my everything website, but mostly about my writing. And I'm getting to that point where I'm going to be getting ready to start querying to agents soon, and I would very much like to have a website that they could just go to check me out and stuff like that. After that is to create a beta reading plan. So this is more towards the end of the 3 months rather than right now, because this is going to be something I want to do towards the end of writing the second draft or after writing the second draft. I want to get it in the hands of readers and start seeing what they think about it and stuff like that. After that is to create a new YouTube plan. My YouTube channel has kind of gone fallow in the last couple years. I haven't really been doing too much with it. I've been doing occasional writing vlogs and stuff like that, and so I need to figure out what I want to do with it, what I want to do with it in the future, and stuff like that. I'll be putting out another video next week that will go further into detail on this and what my possible future YouTube plans are. Suffice it to say that some things are going to change. I don't know exactly what. I don't know if this is going to be creating a new channel or continuing with this one or what. I don't know yet. I gotta figure that out. That'll be next week. So after that is to finish prep on a secret project. So one of the things I definitely want to be doing again on YouTube is Minecraft time lapses. I loved doing that for the White Tower, even though I never finished it, and I kind of want to get back into it. And I've been kind of working off and on new projects I'd like to time lapse for the last few years, but they haven't really gone anywhere, so I really need to buckle down and get a handle on this. So up after that is to, again, be more active on social media. It's a great way to reach out to you guys, great way to find new people to talk to and stuff like that. So I need to do that a lot more and figure that out. So next up is to allow for me time. Now this was the reading and the gaming goals previously. I kind of melded them together and just more of a general make sure I take time out to relax, so I'm not overworking myself and burning out on writing and YouTube and work and stuff like that. And the last goal for Q2 is to visit the flea market. So there's a local flea market that is open year-round, but it's not really worth going to during the winter because it's too cold. So like there's no stalls out in the lot and everything. You just have a single central building that is open year-round. And usually late spring to early fall is the prime time to go to this place because it is a ginormous parking lot just filled with stalls. And I haven't been in years. I really miss going. And you know, you never know what you're going to find at a flea market. For all I know, I could find some games or whatever that I really want to grab and stuff like that. So I want to visit that flea market at least once this spring. So anyways, that is 14 goals, which is exactly one more than last time. At the start of July, we'll see just how well I did, but for now, that's it. I hope you guys have enjoyed the video. A new vlog will be coming next week regarding my future YouTube plans, and new blog posts go up on the 15th of every month. You can find a link to the blog in the description down below, and please leave any comments and suggestions you might have. Thanks for watching. I'll see you guys next time.